Welcome to Breaking the Vow on Strong Island Radio. This is a show where we turn pain into power and find recovery after divorce, separation, and breakups. This is where we push the emotional hang-ups to the side and create a plan to reach our best possible potential. This is where the next chapter starts and how the healing begins. So let's welcome your hosts, Theresa D. and Benny, the life coach.
And welcome back. This show today, folks, is going to be extremely different, with a different mood, different energy, different attitude.
Yes.
I am Benny, the life coach, and with me, as always,
Theresa D.
So I think we have somebody in studio.
Oh, we sure do.
So I want to just say, a very valuable friend of mine has mentioned, he goes,
A valuable friend
yes,
of the show.
and of the show, yeah.
Yeah.
My good friend Kevin Daly, he goes, I got the best guest for you. Mm-hmm. And this is a gentleman with a reputation and an understanding of divorce in a lot of different ways. So I will let you, sir, introduce yourself. Welcome to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the man, the myth, the legend, the one, the only, Mace In Your Face, Mace Greenfield. Woo!
I told you it was going to be very different. So, good morning, Mace, and how are you?
Good afternoon, Ben.
Yeah. Good
And-
afternoon.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Either
Yeah.
whatever you want, wherever you want to go.
Well, it depends when I've woken up and haven't.
And sometimes I'm not sure if I'm awake at all.
Yeah, me too.
So this
I
show,
never am.
this show is called Breaking the Vow, and divorce. In the green room we had like a really interesting conversation about
we
what
sure
marriage
did.
is. So what's marriage?
Marriage is actually
A farce. Never mind.
It is. It's a construct that never existed prior to Emperor Constantine's co-opting Christianity to extend the Roman Empire, and then arising the Catholic Church, which then created where you needed the church-sanctioned marriage that gave the church extra power over people and collected fees for the marriages, giving them more money. And then other religions saw this and said, wow, what a great idea for money and power. And then nations and states and cities, whatever the different government constructs were, said, oh my gosh, more power, more money. So then you ended up with what we have today. Though you're married in a church or a temple, it's still a New York state, and I can only comment legally on New
On
York
your
State
state.
because I'm only licensed to practice in New York.
Right.
So the it's kind of a dual marriage now, because you're married in the church or temple or mosque, wherever it is, and you're also married by state law. So now you can either just get a divorce by state government, or you got to do it in your religion, but then you also have to do it within the state.
Right.
Prior to that, marriage was more like common law marriage, where people just got together, decided they're going to be husband and wife, whether they had words for that or not in their culture at that historical time or not.
Right.
And they lived together, they had kids, and because they chose to do this, the whole community, had a festival and a party, and,
So wait. They had a
wait,
go.
it gets
You
more
go. You
pornographic.
go ahead.
Many of these ancient societies, that first night, although really wasn't necessarily their first night,
Are
they
you talking
would
about
all
sex?
gather around to either watch them have sex,
Watch
or
them.
stand around the hut to listen, because that was proof of now they're in union with each other.
Yeah, I didn't have that experience. So I always had the question that I used to joke around with my friends. The person who thought about this idea of marriage, were they sober
I don't
at
think
the
so.
time? Or did they wake up and go, what the hell?
Well, sober, you also got to ask, what is that when we talk about history?
Yeah.
Because historically, especially back in those ancient days
Right.
of, the Roman Empire,
Right.
it was actually very dangerous to drink water, because you didn't know which water was poison and which wasn't. And that's why
So stick with the wine.
or the beer, because
Right.
another interesting fact that most people don't know, who was the first to brew and export beer?
I don't
The
know.
Egyptians. Now you know the muse for the song "Walk Like an
An
Egyptian."
Egyptian, yeah.
And
Yeah.
you hear there's a little wobble from having drank beer. Nevertheless, the beer and the wine though was very weak beer and wine
Okay.
because you had to drink all this stuff.
Right.
And then later on, the next one that I specifically remember is the rum, but and mixed with molasses.
So everyone
that
was
Roman
drunk.
soldiers
Yeah.
did. So you had to be
That's
careful.
why people got married. So you just answered the question.
Right. Everybody was drunk.
And then you woke up the next morning and be like with a hangover going, uh-oh.
No, you just kept drinking.
I guess so. So listen, I've been sober a long time.
I like your idea.
I've been sober a long time. I remember when I
I've been sober about 9 hours now.
there you go. So I will say,
That's longer than me.
yeah, well, you know what? What's great about this and why I'm celebrating and I'm excited is because what people forget is like lawyers.
Yeah.
A lawyer is a job. It's a position.
Yes.
Right. You're actually a real human being. Your reputation though, as an attorney, is really good.
Thank you. And who do I have to mail checks to for having said that?
Kevin Daly.
We'll give you the address later.
Kevin Daly. Kevin told me, he's a very good friend to me, and we talk a lot, and we
Love
both-
Kevin.
Yeah, and he's like,
Kevin's awesome.
Yeah.
he has said how sometimes when you're going through it, you don't know what to do,
Right.
and one of the things we talk about is always seek the appropriate professional help.
Yes.
Stay away from Google.
Right.
Stop talking to your friends. Stop asking people questions that didn't even open
Right.
a law book.
Right.
That is extremely accurate and correct. And it's just like, people don't understand that law. You have different types of lawyers.
Yes.
Just like contractors. An electrician is a contractor.
Right.
But you wouldn't hire an electrician to fix your toilet.
Right.
A plumber is an electrician. You wouldn't hire him to change
Yes.
your roofing and so on. Except there's one exception in law. If you're not going to go to someone who mostly does divorce law for your divorce, and you're going to go to someone who doesn't do any divorce law, it would be a tax attorney. And do you want to know why?
Why is that?
Because a divorce can be one of the most taxing things you
Things.
can ever live.
All right.
knew you
Well,
were gonna say that.
guys, I told you today was going to be different. So now think about this. There are a lot of intimidations. That
Too many, I think.
Yeah, especially when you hear the word divorce. I mean, I remember there were people that got divorced, and it was like someone like my breath got taken. Like, oh my God, I thought everything was fine, and then all of a sudden you find out it isn't.
It wasn't.
And then what happens is we give into these intimidations just to get away from that, which is why seeking the appropriate attorney. So like as a coach, as a life coach, as a recovery coach, as someone that deals with people with anxiety and depression, I have learned that I am not a fitting coach for every client.
No.
And I would assume not every lawyer is a fitting lawyer or attorney for every client.
Mace, have you ever turned anybody away?
Yes, because I was about to say, and along those same lines, not every client is a fitting match for the lawyer.
Right.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you one of my biggest pet peeves with an incoming client. And what you got to understand is during one of my 2 divorces, I was accused of things that you wouldn't believe. So
Yeah.
I am used to, I had a rifle that was in a James Bond movie. I was accused of pointing it at the baby, my ex and myself. Luckily, I didn't have possession of it anymore, because I expected the allegations because it's
Right.
par for the course. And, just all kinds of
Outrageous.
things. So, when someone comes in and they're not accused of half what I'm accused of, they're flipping out. I can't talk them down, and I can tell they're the type of person that I'm going to end up from the world's weakest blood pressure meds back on the strongest blood pressure meds, and I may end up with my 3rd heart attack. No way am I taking you as a client.
Right.
And okay, what would you recommend someone to look for? We got a minute before we're going to commercial.
Right.
What would you recommend? A way for a client to find their proper attorney.
Well, number one is an attorney when you first meet them who doesn't let you sit there and babble and ramble and vent, because that tells you they're going to do it throughout the relationship, and every moment of that is going to be billed for. There is no health insurance paying a therapist. The ones that tell you, I'm sorry, I appreciate where you're coming from, and at the end, I'll let you get stuff out of your system this one and only time, but I got to ask you questions to get the facts from your situation that the law will recognize and a judge is willing to make a decision on rather than just let you ramble.
Yes.
So I think what people always forget is facts are not feelings, feelings are not facts.
Right.
Nor do facts care about feelings, nor do feelings care about facts.
Right.
So let's go to a commercial and pay some bills, and we will be right back. I told you this guy. I told you.
is
I knew
awesome.
this was going to be awesome.
Yep. Ben, I found the greatest invention ever.
Okay.
I went to take my patio furniture out.
Okay.
And I realized that last year, when I put it all away, I put them in these big zipper bags from Wrap America.
Yes.
Life-changing.
Yes. No. Rap America is awesome. Tommy definitely helped me out on a few different occasions. He
It
actually
holds patio furniture, wave runners, ATVs. It's weather-resistant.
advanced protection wrap
Yes.
is economical and a practical choice.
So call 516-830-0040, or you can go onto their website, wrap-america.com.
All right, since we have a meeting after this in West Islip,
Yes.
I got a place for us to go.
Oh, you do?
Because I'm going to be hungry, so we're going to go to Our Little Italy, 636 Union Boulevard, West Islip, New York, 11795. If you want to know, call 631-661-6246. Pickup and delivery are available. Ask for John. Go on www.ourlittleItalymenu.com to find out what they have.
Oh, I heard they have good chicken parm. Hey, Ben,
Yes.
I need to talk about solar energy.
Okay. I want to hear about
Lighthouse
it.
Energy Partners. Go solar and start saving today.
Makes sense.
Owner, operated by women.
Ooh.
We believe in order to close the gender gap in the energy field, we need to showcase key female players and keeping them behind the scenes. Their mission is to serve clients with the highest level of integrity, stability, and respect by viewing their customers as partners. Any energy project you have in mind, call on Lighthouse Energy, www.lighthouseenergypartners.com, 631-275-0091, located in Babylon Village, New York.
So I have great news. Since we do this show on divorce, when divorce hits, maybe you want to sell the house. Maybe you need a C of O, a certificate of occupancy for certain things in the house. So if you're looking to make some home improvements, need an architect, contact Certified Drafting. Selling your home, need permits for existing structures, need a property survey, contact Certified Drafting. Certified Drafting will handle all building department matters, serving Long Island for over 20 years. www.certifieddrafting.com, office number 516-844-0420, or you can email Kevin Daly at certifieddrafting.com. Tell them you heard about this from the show, from Breaking the Vow. You're going to receive a 10% discount.
We love Kevin.
I love Kevin. I think that's pretty awesome.
And we're back.
So, now we were talking about finding the right fit. What was the most? You're still a human being. You still have a heart. You still have ideas, thoughts, and feelings. And I understand there's a place for the emotional mind and there's a place for the strategic mind. But there had to have been cases where you were like, it just tugged on your heartstrings.
Yeah, there are a few. There are few and rare situations where I see their situation and I understand why they're acting the way they are. And over time, through handling their case,
Right.
getting, organization where there was chaos, getting hope where there was despair, they changed around. But again, when you do this long enough, the situations of, as I said earlier, when they're complaining about things that weren't even half what I lived through, and I never acted that way. When I see a situation where it's, my gosh, if I was in that person's shoes, I'd be acting worse than that. That tempers my perspective.
Right.
Then I can tolerate their level of anxiety.
Right.
Now, have you ever had a client And as the relationship, as you move deeper into the relationship, let's say, you started to realize what kind of person this guy was or woman was.
Or can you tell, like, right off the bat?
You mean if they were the right one or the wrong one?
Right.
Well,
No,
there really
well,
is a right or
Right,
wrong.
there never
but-
really is,
Well,
but...
no, when you were like, hey, wait a second, I got morals and I just can't go against it. I can't be your attorney anymore.
Yeah, I've had situations where I knew they were lying. I could prove they were lying, and I'm like, "There's no way I'm putting this into the court."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, and I'm like, "Listen, here's the bottom line. You know, you want to put this in the court? I will draft it up. My affirmation is going to say with proof. It's all lies and lies. It ain't happening on my watch."
Right.
I never let two ex-wives put egg on my face. I never let a judge in a courtroom put egg on my face.
Right.
No client of mine will put egg on my face. Just sign this consent to change attorney form if you're not going to go with the truth.
Nice. Good.
And,
Yeah.
you know, I've always said, and this goes back to one of my 2 divorces, where people offered to come to court, you know, and lie for me. And this was long before I was a lawyer. Law's a career change. I would look them in the eye and I would tell them, look, you show up in court to take that witness stand. I will have my lawyer impeach you and charge you with perjury, because I would rather lose on the truth than win on a lie, because I got to look myself in
You're right.
the mirror when I shave. I got to look myself
Bravo.
in the mirror.
Yeah.
Bravo.
You know, and I got to live with myself.
Right.
So-
Now, what did you do before you were a lawyer?
Well, I did a couple of things. My main career for 15 years was
Stand-up
advertising-
comedy.
Advertising, marketing,
That too.
and
That was the
public
side job.
relations. But I also did radio and a little TV as Howard Stern referred to me one or more times in the 90s. The other guy on radio, Mace In Your Face, who would diss judges, lawyers, DAs, and cops with impunity, where all the rest had their life destroyed.
Nice.
Wow. All right.
I didn't just do it as talk radio in that vein. Before that, I did it down south as morning radio, where it was more comedy and we played solid gold music. But it was a lot
Nice.
of talk, and it was Terry T with Mace In Your Face in the mornings. And down there in the Twin City of Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia.
Right.
Known would, wanted to do business. I had an ad agency with, a college-educated Jew from New York. Until I became a
love it.
morning show celebrity, and then I could have been the devil himself, and everyone wanted to be around me.
Right. So then
And
what?
we are so lucky.
This is great. So what changed your direction, and you're like, I'm going to be a lawyer now.
Well, that show was Mace In Your Face in New York. What it was originally going to be, because I had sole custody of my daughter.
Right.
Always tried to treat it like joint legal custody, because the more the other parent is included, the better and healthier the child
Yes.
will grow up.
I
And
agree.
The less grief you're going to ever have from the
Yes.
other parent.
Right.
So, cut a long story short, the court started going after her for things they shouldn't. And I just wanted my show to be about being a custodial dad in the prejudiced society where,
Right.
I'm out with my daughter, and cashier, middle-aged cashier would be like, oh, your wife must be happy you took your child out so she could have some, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I don't have a wife. Oh, it's so nice you have her on your... No, I have sole custody. Oh, then who takes care of her and raises her? Your mother, your girlfriend, your sister? No, I do.
Right.
So I was going to have this show about the myths, the gender myths of divorce and custody.
Right.
And people didn't realize close to 50% of children in divorce were living with the father, even back then in the 90s. Much of that was unrecorded in the courts because mom had custody, because... for a multitude of reasons, gave custody to dad, never did it in the courts. And no, folks, that doesn't mean because mom couldn't handle it or mom
Right.
became a drug. She got a job that was really awesome, that changed her hours, that she couldn't be the primary
Right.
caretaker. They saw that dad's jobs changed and it would be better for the kids.
Right.
Society is too quick to jump to the negative.
Yes.
And the biggest reason for that is because only the negative and the bad sells.
That's
Well,
true.
that's-
Think of every
Everybody
divorce-
loves the train
100%.
wreck.
Yeah, everyone thinks that, it's all horrible because that's all you read about. It's all you see about, all you hear about.
Yes.
When the majority of divorces, coast to coast, over 50%, are settled between the parties before they ever go visit a lawyer.
I think that we are programmed towards judgment. I
Yeah.
think there is a social order that is inaccurate. And I
Yeah.
think it's what we're taught. I have learned. Listen, I am someone who went through divorce. I went through the difficulties of co-parenting. I know where my mistakes are, and I know what happened as a result of that. One of our favorite guests, Fran, has
Fess up when you mess up, Fran.
fess up when you mess up,
Yeah.
and I'm a firm believer in that.
Definitely.
Yeah, clean up your
so
side
I
of the
saw
street.
where my mistakes are. But you had mentioned something when parents do not co-parent, it impacts the child. Now, here's something to think about. That child, all these lessons that a child learns when they're young, they grow from that. So what do you expect them to learn from that? If you teach if someone is taught, well, men are this or women are that, how is that helpful? Or if this is the gender role specifically that people fill, I don't see that being helpful to a child because it's going to teach bias and prejudice.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. But that's being intelligent about it. People
I do that sometimes. Don't tell anybody.
It's very rare.
But people don't respond to intelligence.
No, they
Right.
they respond to emotion.
Let me put it in an emotional state. How you raise your child and the way it impacts your child is exactly what's going to happen to your grandchildren.
Yes.
And we all, when we become grandparents, love and coddle our grandchildren. Well, when you screw up in the way you raise your children because of your refusal to co-parent or your arrogance of the other one knows nothing, any of that stuff, you are screwing up your future grandchildren.
Yes, you are.
Think about that. And back to the other thing that,
Okay.
I just want to say, I think everyone has innate into them a certain amount of sadomasochism.
Okay.
That's where the sadism, we enjoy other people's misery.
Okay.
And the masochism is a certain amount of survival because there's a certain amount of pain you have to enjoy or you're going to cave and lose right there. And it can explain why, especially women, don't care how bad their feet hurt if they love the shoes.
True.
Yeah, I like comfortable shoes.
Yeah.
I don't wear heels anymore. You know what I mean? It's just not a good look for me.
Beauty is pain.
Listen, I'm
shouldn't
over
be.
60. I got a messed up back. I got a messed up leg. A whole lot of other injuries today. I don't care if my shoes are ugly as sin. If they are comfortable and I smile, that's all I care about.
Listen, I am younger. I am 48 years old, but there are days where I understand Velcro shoes. I'm just saying.
Hey, back in the late 70s, I wore Capezios and they hurt a little. But they were
Capezios.
cool.
I remember Capezio.
They were
Yeah.
cool.
Capezio and pinstripe jeans. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All right, so
and members only jackets.
Cavarici.
The only member, Z Cavarici. Oh my God, those were the 80s, right? Yeah, those were the 80s.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go to a commercial break, but I want to talk about
You want to talk about Cavaricci's?
not at all.
Oh, and I never got to tell you how I changed my career.
Yeah.
As we segued.
Yeah. All right. So we'll
All
do
right,
that.
we're gonna
as
get
soon as
back
we're
to
done.
that, but I do want to focus on your reputation that I've heard about is helping parents understand their rights.
Understand their rights, understand what's really going on, and the better alternate ways besides direct confrontation to resolve
Right.
it.
Excellent. All right, so
Excellent, I
we're
love
gonna
that.
yeah.
And if that doesn't work, crush.
Exactly.
All right, we're gonna pay some bills and be right back.
Ben, I found the greatest invention ever.
Okay.
I went to take my patio furniture out.
Okay.
And I realized that last year, when I put it all away, I put them in these big zipper bags from Wrap America.
Yes.
Life changing.
Yes. No. Rap America is awesome. Tommy definitely helped me out on a few different occasions. He
It
actually-
holds patio furniture, wave runners, ATVs. It's weather resistant. It's the
Advanced
best.
Protection Wrap
Yes.
is economical and a practical choice.
So call 516-830-0040, or you can go onto their website, wrap-america.com.
All right, since we have a meeting after this in West Islip,
Yes.
I got a place for us to go.
Oh, you do?
Because I'm going to be hungry, so we're going to go to Our Little Italy, 636 Union Boulevard, West Islip, New York, 11795. If you want to know, call 631-661-6246. Pickup and delivery are available. Ask for John. Go on www.ourlittleItalymenu.com to find out what they have. And
Oh, I heard they have good chicken parm. Hey, Ben.
yeah. Yes.
I need to talk about solar energy.
Okay. I want to hear about
Lighthouse
it.
Energy Partners. Go solar and start saving today.
Makes sense.
Owner, operated by women.
Ooh.
We believe in order to close the gender gap in the energy field, we need to showcase key female players and keeping them behind the scenes. Their mission is to serve clients with the highest level of integrity, stability, and respect by viewing their customers as partners. Any energy project you have in mind, call on Lighthouse Energy, www.lighthouseenergypartners.com, 631-275-0091, located in Babylon Village, New York.
So I have great news. Since we do this show on divorce, when divorce hits, you know, maybe you want to sell the house. Maybe you need a C of O, a certificate of occupancy for certain things in the house. So if you're looking to make some home improvements, need an architect, contact Certified Drafting. Selling your home, need permits for existing structures, need a property survey, contact Certified Drafting. Certified Drafting will handle all building department matters, serving Long Island for over 20 years. www.certifieddrafting.com, office number 516-844-0420, or you can email Kevin Daly at certifieddrafting.com. Tell them you heard about this from the show, from Breaking the Vow. You're going to receive a 10% discount.
We love Kevin.
I love Kevin. I think that's pretty awesome. And we are back. We are back with a lot of energy.
Yes.
I'm excited. He's lying, folks. He's lying. So what we're
Of
going to...
course, I'm a lawyer.
His lips are moving. So we're going to talk about those rights again. But okay, wait, first... How did that career path change?
Oh, yeah, we kind
Yeah,
of
what
segued that.
happened?
So when I was doing the Unfamily Hour
Right.
on WGBB, 1240 on the AM dial, I don't know if they're still there, but nevertheless, and Dr. Gene Cirillo, Dr. Gene from the Jenny Jones Show was my co-host.
Oh, okay.
And Judge Burton Joseph, who was supervising judge of the family court at the time, was a guest on my show several times, and he's the one who talked me into becoming an attorney to take my fight with the system inside, because the hooks of the system couldn't touch me.
Right.
Well, the hooks of the system were my drinking buddies, just to give a little
Nice.
explanation. Nevertheless, and it helps I sat on the Common Defense Forum when Daddy Bush was president, but I segue now. So Judge Joseph asked me to, talk me into becoming a lawyer, take my fight with the system inside, to work on it that way. It was about 8 years after becoming a lawyer. Someone pointed out to me, that's actually how the judiciary effectively shut you up. By using him to talk you into
Yes.
becoming a lawyer when they couldn't shut you up otherwise.
Exactly.
I think that's
Yes.
great.
Yeah, but I don't think it's great that they thought you should shut up, because you shouldn't.
Well, he wasn't gonna. That's
Right.
pretty clear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it freaked him out.
Like
because
similar to me, he's
Right.
not. He's
He's
not
not
stopping.
shutting
This
up.
guy's not
I would
stopping.
have tapes of conversations from in chambers in a courthouse that I was nowhere near, that I would broadcast with judges and lawyers saying things that absolutely should not have been said. And I always introduced it as, ladies and gentlemen, there I found a brown manila envelope on my front doorstep. And there was a tape recording inside. And I got curious and I played the tape. And it sounds like it is. Now, I can't swear that it is, but folks, I'm going to play it and leave it up to you, my Mace In Your Face maniacs, to decide if it is or isn't what
That's
it purports
awesome.
to be.
That's great.
That's awesome.
So-
Awesome. It's accountability.
Well, what I love about your story is the way I relate to it. So I would write a lot about my life and what I went through, and it was really for me, not for necessarily for anyone else. And I wrote something about addiction and then my relationship to it, which this is my relationship. I didn't accuse or point fingers at anyone. So someone that I knew reached out to me kind of offline and was like, "You talk a lot."
Yeah, you do. Could you shut up?
Well, thank you. That was nice of you. My co-host on a talk radio show. So, what they said was either you put up or shut up. You talk a lot. Either you're going to do something about it or not. So that's when I made certain changes. If you would have told me 5 years ago that this is what I'd be doing, I would have been like, yeah, crazy. But I love it. So I assume this direction, this change for you had to become something you loved to do.
Yeah.
Well, there was a love and a passion for a while until I realized that it was actually worse than I thought it was. And actually, things from when I first became an attorney in '99, the reputation of the industry and the matrimonial industry was horrible, and I saw it was true more than I thought it was when on radio, because now I had the knowledge to really know.
Right. Things
were slowly getting better and better and better and better until the '08 recession. And then it became horrendous again.
Yeah.
You had too many people that wanted, divorced people that received money that needed to receive more money. Those who were paying it needed to pay less. But too many lawyers in other areas of law heavily affected by the recession that said, I'm going to do divorce and family law to make money. Mm-hmm. And now you went back through all the same nonsense because you had people doing it that didn't really know it and thought, based on the way it used to be done, they can milk it to make money. And then you had the lawyers that did do it regularly, who got so much better, who would say, Mace, I'm sorry, I'm going to get this settled with you, but I can't do it right now. I got to get my client past certain points. And I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't even the whole case. This is just certain procedural issues that are always just resolved. And I'm like, oh, God, these people just want a bill.
Right.
Yeah, well, that seems
exactly
to be
what's happening now.
The popular thing,
seems
right?
To be the popular vote.
It's a
Let's
business.
bill.
It's absolutely a business. Now
that it is, but I get my marketing referrals from clients based on the fact of you do what he tells you to do, and don't question it and just stick to it.
You get results.
It will cost you a lot less in the end than it costs everyone else.
So who was the guest that we had on here? And she said, "I'll tell you, you're either going to pay for my kids to go to college or your kids to go to college." Gene, which do you prefer? And that I think that to a client is
absolutely true. Although my daughter is going on 34, I tell them, you want to pay for your kids' college or my next 3 European vacations?
That's a good one. I like that.
So now, there are times, hey, listen, there are times where visitation is an honor. There are times where things get difficult, and there are times I know fathers who, they've become like estranged and they have been cast out and put out and they're like, hey, I just want to see my kid. And there's an agreement in place, but yet they can't, the two parents just can't see eye to eye. What do you suggest?
Well, the key is they need to see an attorney that knows that area of law very well, because you want to start out with someone that you discuss it with who's going to suggest some alternate resolutions to hiring the lawyer and going to court.
Okay.
And have you documented and diary it
like
so
a
you can
mediator?
tell a judge. No.
No.
It's like different ways that father, or these days often it's the non-custodial mother.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, I'll just use the term non-custodial parent. And it's, different things that parent can do to try to avoid court in order to, tell a judge, I tried all these things and have records and proofs. You also don't want to wait too long, because the longer you wait, the less it looks like you care to a judge. You haven't seen your kid for 2 years, and then you go in front of a judge. Well, it didn't matter to you for 2 years. Why should it matter to me now?
So
you also want to. Sometimes you did things you don't realize that a lawyer or a lawyer like me who lived through it before becoming a lawyer, can talk to you in a way that may find things, that you inadvertently didn't realize that you can then address to change it. But then you need to file in court. There's just no choice. The child is given their own attorney to give their perspective. Sometimes their perspective is just to protect the parent they live with out of fear of retribution. Sometimes you need a forensic, a psychologist that specializes in this, who can get to the heart of it and beyond that. I just want to protect myself if it gets back to the parent I live with, but not all of those forensics are any good. And I hope judge does the right thing, but the bottom line is you can always, on the least, get therapeutic visitation where you're in a room alone with those kids and a therapist, where the other parent can't be there to influence directly during that time, that therapist may be able to find issues of influence or may be able to find issues of what went wrong to bridge that gap and make it right. Mm-hmm. But again, you wait too long to act. it's going to be meaningless. And when you wait too long, it also ingrains in the child's head, they were right about you, you don't care.
Right.
So what had happened? So again, fess up when I mess up, and there were ways in my relationship with my child and my ex that or her mother. I don't like to say ex-wife. I just don't like to say that. But her mother and I did not get a co-parent well together, and there's no blaming. There's no saying it's her fault or my fault. I know where my mistakes were. Then after an argument, my daughter chose she didn't want to come anymore. And I didn't want to force her. And for over 3 years, I called every week and I tried every week. I don't like courts. I don't want to go to court.
Who does?
I didn't want to.
Lawyers,
Right.
True.
clerks, court officers,
Right.
judges.
So
You're right.
hold on. I also didn't want to make it about me. It's not about me. If my daughter made that choice, only thing I can say is I was consistent and I was persistent and I offered to try to recreate, rebuild. And anything beyond that is no longer about me. Then when I was finally asked to stop calling, I honored that. And that doesn't mean it didn't hurt. This was my choice. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I am saying that I chose to honor what I was asked. And from that, I learned to grow from that. So we're going to come back in a couple of minutes. So this is going to be the last segment is our constructive conclusion.
But I want to address what you just said.
Yes.
We're going to.
Constructively.
Yeah.
You can. It doesn't matter what you say. I have my opinion. You have yours. But we're going to come back to that in a second.
Ben, I found the greatest invention ever.
Okay.
I went to take my patio furniture out.
Okay.
And I realized that last year, when I put it all away, I put them in these big zipper bags from Wrap America.
Yes.
Life-changing.
Yes. No. Rap America is awesome. Tommy definitely helped me out on a few different occasions. He
It
actually-
holds patio furniture, wave runners, ATVs. It's weather-resistant. It's the
Advanced
best.
Protection Wrap
Yes.
is economical and a practical choice.
So call 516-830-0040, or you can go onto their website, wrap-america.com.
All right, since we have a meeting after this in West Islip,
Yes.
I got a place for us to go.
Oh, you do?
Because I'm going to be hungry, so we're going to go to Our Little Italy, 636 Union Boulevard, West Islip, New York, 11795. If you want to know, call 631-661-6246. Pickup and delivery are available. Ask for John. Go on www.ourlittleItalymenu.com to find out what they have. And
Oh, I heard they have good chicken parm. Hey, Ben,
yes.
I need to talk about solar energy.
Okay. I want to hear about
Lighthouse
it.
Energy Partners. Go solar and start saving today.
Makes sense.
Owner, operated by women.
Ooh.
We believe in order to close the gender gap in the energy field, we need to showcase key female players and keeping them behind the scenes. Their mission is to serve clients with the highest level of integrity, stability, and respect by viewing their customers as partners. Any energy project you have in mind, call on Lighthouse Energy, www.lighthouseenergypartners.com, 631-275-0091, located in Babylon Village, New York.
So I have great news. Since we do this show on divorce, when divorce hits, you know, maybe you want to sell the house. Maybe you need a C of O, a certificate of occupancy for certain things in the house. So if you're looking to make some home improvements, need an architect, contact Certified Drafting. Selling your home, need permits for existing structures, need a property survey, contact Certified Drafting. Certified Drafting will handle all building department matters, serving Long Island for over 20 years. www.certifieddrafting.com, office number 516-844-0420, or you can email Kevin Daly at certifieddrafting.com. Tell them you heard about this from the show, from Breaking the Vow. You're going to receive a 10% discount.
We love Kevin.
I love Kevin. I think that's pretty awesome. Right.
And we're back.
All right. So, Mace In Your Face. God.
Okay, I just want to say, Ben, in your situation, from what I heard, if I heard correctly, I am hearing impaired.
Okay.
Was that
I'm listening impaired. There's a difference, but yes, go ahead.
the child got upset after hearing an argument.
Yep.
People, here's a key. A, you never have discussions over major decisions of any kind with the other parent when that child is there or in listening range. The child, you and the other parent should go out of your way so that child never hears an argument between the two of you. And if the other parent wants to argue and the child is there, you say, listen, I'm sorry, I'm walking away right now. I don't want our child to hear this. When the child isn't around, we can talk over the phone. We can get together at a diner. And the key of saying to get together at the diner is it's really hard to have a big blowout match at a diner.
Yeah.
Right.
See, I think that's a
always
great idea,
suggest that.
and I agree with that. My argument was with my daughter actually,
And-
which
but
was
also
a little
on
differently.
that, very important, the between a son and a daughter. If it's a daughter who wants time, you give her some time, but very little. Women want to be chased when they walk away. Men don't. They need time in their cave. So a son wants time, give the kid a week, where you give the daughter a day or two. But then, you don't overdo things. But even in a situation where, in your shoes, where you felt the right thing was to just stop, you still send birthday cards and gifts.
Did
you
that.
still send, Christmas cards and gifts.
Called
or
once a
Hanukkah or
week.
Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
You do, so they know that you're not just giving up on them, because otherwise you'd completely don't try anything. The kid says, I was right to cast the parent out. They don't really care.
So I agree with that. I always recommend people be consistent and persistent, and that's really what I did until it was told. So there was one conversation with a therapist, and the discussion of loyalty came up, and they said, "Listen, I think this isn't a forever thing. I just think she doesn't know where to put her loyalty." Because I said, "Listen, at this point, you're old enough. When you want to talk to me, you just tell me you want to talk to me. When you and I want to talk, we'll talk. We don't have to involve anybody else. Our relationship is between us." And I thought that was a good idea, and I still think there was some good points in that. What I learned is my attitude and the tone of my voice when I say things. I could say something and mean something, but if my body language or the tone in my voice doesn't match that, there is still interpretation.
Absolutely. The body language and tone of the voice are very huge percentages of communication.
I had coached a woman that I stopped coaching, and I said, listen, I cannot continue the relationship because of personal conflict and bias, and I wouldn't be helpful to you. And she's like, I don't understand. I said, too often you mention what you say about the child's father, and I have a bias about it. But I'm not supposed to have an opinion here. My job as a coach is to get you from point A to point B. But this is not helpful to anyone.
You're absolutely right. People don't understand. You speak publicly negatively about the other parent of your child or in social media, you are running a huge risk and high probability it'll get back to the child.
Right.
A child who
It
is
always
half
will.
you and half the other parent.
Yes.
And when you say negative stuff about the other parent, you're saying negative stuff about half your child.
Right.
So slander campaigns do not work to me.
No.
And another thing that I don't think people understand is, God forbid, and I say, God forbid, let's say the child is with their mother or with their father. I don't care which one. That person that the child is living with, something happens to that parent, right? Let's say COVID struck, and God forbid, it was a finality and it was a fatality. Now, where is that child going? To the person that has been slandered.
Right.
And this child has been trained, mom or dad, whichever the case may be, is your enemy. Now, one parent's dead, going to the other side. How is that a benefit to the child? Like, that is
And
so...
makes the mourning of the lost parent so much worse, because now they're going to, such a horrible parent.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you when you do this, folks, you are screwing up your kid. And if you truly love your child, your children, you truly believe in the best interests of your children and don't just want to hide behind it, even if everything you could say about the other parent is true, you never say it to the kid. Oh, I'm sorry. No, the other parent does love you. You know, they had an issue, and you make
Yeah.
up excuses for them.
Yep.
You know, for them. And then one day the kid will grow up and realize and say, why'd you lie to me about my other parent? And
Yep.
then, you know, you say
exactly what happened.
You say, what are you talking about? And they say, well, you always said they missed me, they loved me, they had to go to work. That's what to make money. That's why they weren't there for visitation. I found out none of this was true. Why? Well, then you look at them in the eyes and say, well, how would you feel if I looked at you? Let's make believe it was true. Everything, you know, it was true. Well, you know, and I just said it to you. How would that make you feel? And the kid will look down remorsefully and look up and say, you're right, and hug you for having done the right thing.
Right.
I don't know what it's like to have a son. I almost
Neither do I.
don't know what it's like to have a daughter. And I say this wholeheartedly with pain in my heart because I genuinely love my child. I want what is best for her. My decision to allow her space did not come without any emotion. However, intellectually speaking, strategically speaking, my job is to be sure that she is happy. If she is unhappy around me, I certainly do not want to force that. I see this little girl.
Yeah, but she's
remember-
unhappy around you because of the fact that she's been
I don't.
trained.
No. I will not accept that or say that. I do not use accusatory statements.
No.
No. And I'm not saying you do. I'm
Yeah.
just speaking for me. I remember when my daughter fit between my wrist and the inside of my elbow, and I remember when she slept, and I remember when she looked at me, and I also remember the intimidations that I felt at that time, and I remember the fears that I felt at that time, and I remember my difficulties and my challenges, and I wished that I had someone like you, Mace, to speak to. I wish I had someone like myself, or I wish I knew what coaching was at that time, because I could have saved myself years of frustration, pain, fear, and intimidation. What happens is, and you and I talked about this in the green room, people get caught up in this idea, in this mindset that is so painful and so degrading. And personally, it's self-destructive, self-deprecating, it's self-harm. Until we learn how to recreate these relationships and make different connections with our thinking, it's very difficult to move forward. So part of why I became a coach and part of why I'm such a fan of you and what you're saying right now.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I taught Elvis how to say that.
The part of why is because there are people that, there are men that don't know that when their wives have a child, that that mother is going to evolve. I wish I learned to evolve with my daughter's mother. I'm not saying that
Not all moms do. It's a societal myth.
Right.
It goes back to what you said earlier about your children learning from the way you act.
Right.
Parents know parenting based on how their parents
parents
parented,
Yeah.
and then how they may adapt it. There is no intrinsic natural evolution
Right.
that goes
Right.
on.
I didn't know how to do that. And there was things that I remember my old man would do. I'm like, I swore I was never going to be like that. Because my father, he was like a blue collar guy, which I am too. And he had like, you know, he didn't play around too much. You know what I mean? He was tired. He worked hard. I was very similar. And then one day I woke up and I was like, wow, I became the person I said I wasn't going to be.
We all do.
And
Yeah.
one day, whether it happens or not, I have something called the Daddy Diaries. And with a tear in my eye, one day, whether she comes to me or not, I'm going to give them to her. And no matter where she is in this world, she can never deny that I loved her. I am so grateful that you came in today because we needed
Yes, we needed this.
the energy, man. And
Yeah.
you know you have to come back, right?
Right.
Okay.
You mean I get to talk more? Good.
Yes.
He's so great. He's so great.
He is.
So what do you think the constructive takeaway for the listeners should be today?
The constructive takeaway is a divorce is like a business dividing a business.
Sure.
Take the facts that the law cares about, put it to that, and divide everything with the way it would at the end of a trial now. Put your children first and love them and stop playing the games so that you maximize time the child spends with each of you and that you each share in the major decisions of the kid's life. There's stuff that ain't major. It's just whoever the kid is with at that moment. You don't want to start getting petty. Keep your time in court down. Keep your legal fees down. Save that money for your retirement and your children's college and future.
That's that.
Yeah.
I think that.
Amen.
Theresa, what's your constructive conclusion for the day?
You know, I don't even know. I've never laughed so much on an episode in my entire life.
Well,
Laughter is great medicine.
As
How
we
about
close
that?
out the show and say there was a show going on in the green room which we should have taped before we got in here.
We really should have taped that.
So when you come back the next time, we got. You should be on the dating game with us. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a lot of things going on.
I'll play.
All right, folks, that's it for us today. So we'll see you soon.
Peace out.
Ciao.
Oh, that was great.